Shalom family, so I'm excited for this next video. We are focusing solely on cereal ingredients. Yeah! So excited about that. Reason being is that cereal is something that we all know, love. Majority of us, we eat it all the time, from childhood all the way to adulthood. For adults, it's like a nice little snack. For kids, we give them for breakfast because it's quick. But when you really analyze what you're giving these kids, your kids, and what you're putting in yourself, and we're thinking about honoring our God through nutrition, then we have to really focus on what ingredients are we allowing in our body, and are we really honoring Yah in a way that we should. So today we're going to focus on the ingredients BHT and BHA. They are similar ingredients. BHA is typically considered a sister alternative ingredient preservative. So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at what it is. We're going to look at how it affects the body, and then allow you to make the decision on whether or not you want to continue eating these things. But just keep in mind that if you're trying to restore the Hebrew body through nutrition, if you're trying to eat healthier, to improve your spiritual life, as well as just your overall daily life, then I would consider taking these out, because let's just be real. If I'm really focusing hard on it, it's probably because it shouldn't be in your system, but it's completely up to you. And obviously, in all health advice, please speak with your health professional to decide what is right for you. I am not anyone's doctor. I'm just sharing the information that I found in my studies as being a certified health coach, and I'm just trying to help you as people. So that being said, let's get started. Okay, so what is BHT and BHA? BHT and BHA are man-made preservatives used to keep cereals fresh. That sounds fine, keeping it fresh, keeping it longer. But they are also used as an ingredient in embalming fluid, jet fuel, rubbing petroleum products, and cosmetics. Doesn't that sound delicious? Yes, we just love eating that. Now, what do? These chemicals are designed to give food and other products a longer shelf life. But is that what Yahuwah intended for his people? Does he want us to eat man-made chemicals that preserve the shelf life of the food that is overly processed already? And then if you think about these ingredients, so these ingredients are used to keep bodies from decomposing. These are the active ingredients in embalming fluid for that. So we think about what embalming fluid does. Do we really want that in our system? So let's think about it. So does it hurt? BHT and BHA are known carcinogens that are also known to affect the nervous system and cause childhood behavioral problems. It impairs liver and kidney function, and it causes other internal problems within the circulatory, liver, thyroid, kidney, and lung functions of the body. So what does that even mean? Well, first things first, BHT and BHA are FDA-approved ingredients. They say that the proportions of what they put in there are not harmful to the body. But let's really think about this. If you are a person eating cereal, typically you eat it frequently, almost every day, or even if you're eating it just a few times a month. And then say you're doing that for 30, 40, 50 years. And that stuff never gets out of your system because it's constantly in there. And then on top of that, you're eating other ingredients that have BHT and BHA. So you're eating cookies and cakes, and you're eating candies that have these ingredients. And you're eating food colors from these candies, cakes, cookies, pasta, and canned foods and all that, and frozen foods. And then you're constantly compounding all these ingredients in your body day after day after day after day, every day of your life. Does that hurt you over time? Think about it. When you look at our ancestors from old, right? Let's talk about our ancestors prior to like in the 50s and 40s, when you really started getting those really into preservatives. Their lives were short, not because of the food. They didn't die because of high blood pressure and diabetes and all that stuff. What did they die of? They got kicked in the chest by a mule or something just crazy off the wall to us these days. They died because their lives were hard. They didn't die because of the food ingredients. They didn't die because of a bunch of diseases. That just was not common. If they died of a disease, typically it was something that was introduced to them that their system, their ancestry is not accustomed to. So their body just didn't know how to fight it off. That happened to a lot to the Hebrew community, or people would say the Black and African American community, because they didn't know how to fight off syphilis, because it wasn't something that we had. It wasn't something, we didn't have smallpox. Those weren't diseases that the African people, that the Northeast African, that the Hebrew people had, right? So we can't compare lifespan to those people. Because we look at scripture, if we're really going to look at our ancestors in scripture, their lives were really long because they ate the way they were supposed to according to Torah. They focused on real ingredients, okay? So I'm bringing that up so that people can understand today's thing, where people try to justify eating these ingredients and say, well, I feel fine. Or what about my grandparents? They're fine. But what is that doing to your body? We live in a system where a lot of the higher ups, they know who we are. They know what we're about. They know the spiritual side of things. And we have to understand how they are trying to affect our systems, right? So if you don't feel anything or your body is seemingly okay, please understand that it's affecting you spiritually in some way, shape, or form. Why do I say that? Because it's saying here that it causes childhood behavioral problems, right? But if we trust our Elohim, we trust our God, and we know that our behavior can be fixed through him, then what else is causing us to have these behavioral issues? Let's really think about that. What is it opening up spiritually to cause these things to happen? Okay. Now let's look at it on a scientific level. You're putting these things in your body day after day and just compounding it and just multiplying it in your system. And you give it no relief, no detox. Then of course, eventually all these ingredients are going to be a higher level and a higher amount within there, that it would cause issues in your nervous system. It would impair your mind. It would impair your overall functions. Your lifespan is going to be shortened, even though you seem fine. Think about how much longer you would live if you didn't put these carcinogens and all these ingredients in your body. So you're shortening your lifespan for food. I don't know why I got off on that tangent, but clearly y'all wanted that to be said. So just keep that in thought process, and sorry I was a little long-winded there. Let's keep moving. Okay. So the worst part of all this is that your child, your children, I see a typo here, they're more vulnerable. Okay. So these cereals are targeted to children who eat them throughout their lives, thus creating a self-destruct bomb within their body and shortening their lifespans significantly over time. It is a slow death. Just because it tastes good doesn't mean it's good for you. Just because it doesn't feel like it hurts you doesn't mean that it's not doing damage. And for a child, because they're so vulnerable, what this system is doing is that they're putting these ingredients in your body at a young age. Even in formula, they're putting these ingredients in formula to get your babies while they're young. They're shortening their lifespans early on so that they do not live in the longevity that our ancestors once had, that we were once blessed to have. So keep that in mind when you're honoring Yah through nutrition. You're trying to eat better and live better, and you're doing it for the Father. If you are doing this for the Father, then you need to understand that every little ingredient, no matter how small, affects your body in a negative way. And if it's not doing it in the physical, then it's definitely doing it in the spiritual. So you want to make sure those ingredients are good. So how can we change this? How can we not put these garbage ingredients in our body? I have a couple ideas. Here's a few easy ways. The first one, first and foremost, is to read the labels on the cereal boxes. My rule of thumb, and hopefully this is something that you would adopt if it fits you, is that if you don't understand what it is, or if the name is too scientific, put it back, put the box back, just put it back, okay? Buy organic cereal where available. Now I know not all places and all stores have organic cereal, but if you can't find it, experiment. There are some great tasting brands that give you all the flavor and none of the chemicals. They are delicious. So buy organic when you can. Experiment. If one box is nasty, don't write them all off. Try another box, try another bag, try another cereal until you find something that works for you and your family. You know, kids, their taste buds are kind of finicky, especially if you're changing from the mainstream ones to an organic one. You want to keep experimenting to find one that they like. And then the next thing is just trying alternatives. At the end of the day, cereal isn't the best or healthiest option. It's tasty, it's a nice snack, but it's not really a meal. If you're trying to eat it as a meal, you or your children will be hungry within an hour or two. It's just typically what happens because it doesn't sit that long. And a lot of the ingredients, not the ingredients, the nutrition that is in there is added nutrition, meaning that it's synthetic vitamins. So you're not getting the full vitamin complex that you're supposed to have. And all that means is when Yahuwah created the food, when he created apples and oranges and all these amazing fruits and vegetables, there is more nutrients than just the vitamins. There are minerals. There's phytonutrients that's in there. There is micronutrients that you do not get in these cereals. You do not get in synthetic vitamins. So what's happening is that you're eating these foods and your body's getting a taste of that vitamin, a taste of that mineral, but it's not getting the rest of what it's looking for. So it's going to keep searching. So you're going to start feeling peckish. You're going to start feeling hungry. You're going to want a snack. And you're going to keep eating, keep eating, keep eating, keep eating. Or you're just going to be like, oh, that didn't fill me up. Why am I eating this? You know, this stuff is expensive. So to cut all that out, trying some alternatives in the morning, try to find things that make it easier for you to eat quick, but not necessarily cereal is something that you can do. Now, I would take these personally step by step, right? So, you know, to make an easy transition, I would start with the blue box and read the labels. So that would be number one. Then go to number two, which will be buying organic cereal. You see something on sale, give it a try. You know, if you can afford the more expensive boxes or you see organic cereal that is not expensive, then you can do that, right? So you go with the orange box. And then afterwards, you can go with the last one, which is the more darker orange, which is trying alternatives and just slowly changing your lifestyle to a point to where you don't have that crutch of eating the mainstream stuff anymore. You don't feel like you need it because this is a process. Anytime you're trying to clean your diet, eat healthier, your body's going to look for those ingredients that it's so accustomed to. And so you have to detox it from that. It's kind of like taking drugs out of your body. You know, if you were an addict, you have to detox from all that toxins and then your body will adjust and that takes time. So you also have to be patient with yourself. There we go. All right. So changing our habits. So our modern lives are so busy that we often give our children quick meals that don't benefit them. If we retrained our mindsets to prep meals in advance, we can give our children, sorry, all these typos, a better chance to live longer and healthier lives. Now, that being said, you know, we're busy, you know, we're in Babylon. We're basically working a type of slavery, essentially, because we don't have the freedom to make adjustments as easily for our families, right? Some of us are self-employed, but it's a real grind. And so it's really readjusting how we live our lives to make it easier for ourselves. So following the steps that I recommended earlier could be a really good help for somebody, right? And I believe that if you apply those and take it step by step and don't beat yourself up and not really compare yourself to others, it would be really helpful for you. However, if you are able to make a switch and maybe get up a little bit earlier and have the family get up earlier and eat together and try and make a meal together, then that is something that I would recommend to push yourself for. I know for our family, we're trying our best to do that, to eat together and just to make a meal and get consistent and not be lazy. So you know where your family is, you know where your mindset is. So wherever you are, try to take 2 steps above that. So if you have the availability to eat as a family, take that step and eat as a family and figure it out. If you don't have that availability, if your schedule's too busy or too crazy or you're working overnight, then start step by step by just adjusting the foods until Yah gives you that opening to be able to do what you would desire to do, which would be to be with your family, right? So where will you begin to improve your family's health? As I said, start small, Find healthier cereals that your family will love and pay attention to the ingredients. And then take take it like levels of a video game, step by step. Don't try and go to level X. None of us have fully arrived. I have not arrived. My Ish has not arrived. We're still trying. But we know that some people, they look at our lifestyle and they see that, we've come a long way, but we've also been doing this for almost a decade. So definitely keep trying, keep striving, and know that, we're honest about our journey too. There's still things we're cutting out. But cereal is the one thing that Yahuwah has placed on my heart, and I hope that he places on all your hearts to just examine it as well. And I hope that you found this video to be extremely helpful. Again, there's no condemnation or judgment by any means. It's just a means to help and to serve Yah's people. And so hopefully you'll take this and apply it in a way that makes sense for your family. So I appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing. There are resources available and still growing. I thank you guys for being so patient with me as we're building the Loving My Temple site, and we're just continually adding resources, free and paid services that we're really excited about. We're just allowing Yah to guide us and taking step by step, because first and foremost, it's about helping his people get healthier, so we're just going from there. So more and more free resources will be available. And then as Yahuwah sees fit, the health coaching group, personal and online coaching will become more available. So you'll see this presentation in the resources. And then if you're looking for more tips and resources, you can also go to Loving My Temple website. There's blog content and different things. And every week we're adding new content, at least 2 to 3 different content. And I say we because, the brand is growing, and we're just going to continue to add people to it that really has a heart to serve Yahuwah's people, because that's really what it's all about. But anyway, I love you guys. I thank you guys so much for watching this video and listening in. And if you have any questions, please contact me. I will get back to you. If I've been slow, please forgive me. Charge it to my head and not my heart. But I love you guys, and I'm going to get a little more active in doing that. So I praise Yah for you. I pray that you are blessed, and I pray that this bless you. Take care. Shalom.